Race 2 of the weekend for the Prototype Cup Germany is about to get underway. It will be a second 55-minute race for the cars and drivers. It'll be a second race of the day for this man, Marvin Dienst, on pole position. Took part earlier on, of course, in the ADAC GT Masters race, his first appearance in that championship this season. He has been dominating the ADAC Prototype Cup Germany along with Berkay Bessler. Maximilian Hacklander will be the closest challenger to Dienst in the early going in the Conrad Ginetta, and making it 3 different chassis manufacturers in the top 3. Gary Hauser in the Racing Experience Duqueine D08, third in the standings for this one, at least as they get underway, but there will be a long way to go once we are racing in a few moments' time. If you were tuning in yesterday, you'll know that we had 2 formation laps owing to the conditions. We should have just the 1 formation lap this time here at the Lausitzring. This sprint circuit configuration, a little under 3.5 kilometers of circuit to play with for the drivers here. Of course, taking in sections of the tri-oval. Plenty of braking zones, sharp braking zones here at this circuit means that overtaking certainly is possible. We saw plenty of it yesterday from that number 7 car on pole in particular. Berkay Bessler suffered a little bit in qualifying yesterday. Ended up qualifying 8th on the grid, worked his way into the top 3 before too long, with some great moves for TalkSport WRT in their Ligier, and it is that Ligier on pole position. Maximilian Hacklander in 2nd place. He did safety car driving duties at Nürburgring 2 weeks ago in something a bit quicker now. Hauser and Danny Sufi on row 2. Matteo Villagomez and Torsten Kratz on row 3. Matthias Luton on the 4th row alongside Jesse Salmonaggio, and Michael Lyons, the highly experienced historic and contemporary racer, starting at 9th on the grid for this one. He reckons he's going to make up some places from that position, so keep an eye on Michael Lyons. So there you see the championship situation. Marvin Dienst and Berkay Bessler with a perfect 100 points so far. They have taken 4 race wins from 5 races. They retired, DNF'd at Nürburgring in race number 1 last month at the Truck Festival at Nürburgring. But that aside, it has been all about TalkSport WRT, the only other team that have taken a win this year, Writer Engineering, and they're not here this weekend. Axel Jeffries, as you saw on your graphics a few moments ago, is 2nd in the standings. He's in that number 2 car alongside Maximilian Hacklander, so he could do with scoring some good points here today to have a shot at the championship at the season finale at Hockenheim in October. For the 2nd and final time this weekend, Prototype Cup Germany from ADAC and Creventic is go, and it's a good start by the looks of it from the RTM racing car. That's a little further down in the pack, but Marvin Dienst doing what he needs to do into turn 1. That's hold the inside line. However, Hacklander on the offensive, trying to get around the outside at turn 1. That became the inside at turn 2, but he has to settle for 2nd, at least in the early going. Danny Sufi trying to get up into 3rd place to make it a Conrad 2-3, and he does so at the expense of Gary Hauser. Nice driving there in the early stages. I think Leonard Wiese, or rather Torsten Kratz, has got the 11 car up the order a bit there as well. He's in 5th place, albeit under a lot of pressure from the Corridon Kempi car of Salmonaggio. He's up to 6th place, the distinctive 6th backed car. It is Marvin Dienst in the lead of this race then. Had a good run earlier on in GT Masters as Salmonaggio goes for 5th place and claims 5th place. Torsten Kratz run a little bit wide there by the orange car, but completely missing the braking zone into the first run through turn 10 and 11, and it was very odd indeed. He shed some bodywork in the process there too. Now, is that a damaged car? You can see a puncture, actually. Look at that. The tyres very, very low indeed on the right rear. What a bizarre... It was as if it just had a slow puncture. And he only found out about it in the braking zone for turn 10. Yeah, you can see there that the tyre was already going down at that point, and an unfortunate start then for Salman Alshio. The start of this race is under investigation, but that is often par for the course anyway. That said, a lot of cars seem to be out of formation as the race got underway, so we'll have to wait and see what is decided there, if anything is decided there. So Salman Alshio still in the pit lane. Hopefully he can rejoin the race, but that car looking worse for wear, and I'm not even sure if he's still in the car. We get another replay of that moment, just braking for turn 10. Car would not stop. As it transpired, the tyre was going down. Marvin Dienst bringing the gap between himself and Hacklander up. It was 0.8 of a second last time by. We'll see as they cross the line momentarily exactly what the gap is this time. It's definitely more than 8/10. It's 1.3 seconds. So, as with yesterday's race, Marvin Dienst is using his stint to systematically gain his, grow his advantage. Villa Gomez side by side with Michael Lyons. Villa Gomez profiting up to 7th place there with a nice tidy move at turn 1. Michael Lyons down to 8th place then. Talking to Lyons earlier today, acknowledged that there's still some learning to do, I think, between the Gebhardt team and their Ginetta G61 LTP3. But they are improving and learning more about the car each time they come out, and hopefully we see them again at the season finale. Hopefully we see them move up the order again before the end of this race. For now, they are in 8th place. Still no sign of a pit lane departure, unfortunately, for Corridon Kempen Motorsport. Still no sign of a 4th wheel on the car either, so that may go no further. Battle for 6th then, with Matthias Luton forging the path. Car that was 2nd in the championship coming into this weekend in the hands of Luton and Donar Munding. Hasn't been the best of weekends for the team and their Duqueine D08. Hasn't quite looked like it has the edge compared to some of the other cars that we'd expect at the sharp end. It was Donar Munding in the wet conditions yesterday, really did struggle. Had 2 or 3 offs. Out onto the oval briefly again at turn 5 and 6 goes this battle for 6th position. And Luton maintaining that place well at the moment. The start has been confirmed to be okay after a brief investigation. Marvin Dienst continues to build his lead at the front of the order. It's 1.7 seconds that Dienst has over Hacklander at the front of the order. No such luxuries, though, for this man, Matthias Luton, who continues to watch Villa Gomez lurk in the mirrors. It's been a good week for Rinaldi Racing here at the Lausitzring circuit. Both Oscar Tunio and Mateo Villa Gomez looked fast yesterday. Not the best of qualifyings from Villa Gomez this morning, but we'll see if they can work their way up the order. Late on the brakes there, Villa Gomez didn't quite get to the inside, though, of Matthias Luton, who resolutely takes the apex for turn 1. Villa Gomez wasn't quite alongside him. Watching brief being kept by Elbacker. We'd thought it was Michael Lyons taking the start in the number 70 Gebhardt car, but I now see that that's been updated to say Jakob Erlbacher. So Erlbacher it is that takes the start for Gebhardt Motorsport. Michael Lyons, the classic Group C and Formula One expert, is yet to take the wheel of the car running in 8th place then. I know that he's racing a Lola LMP2 car next week at the Silverstone Classic, getting his eye in with a run in an LMP3 this weekend. Marvin Dienst continues on at the head of the order. Let's see what the gap is this time. Keep a watching brief on that. It's gone up again to 3.6 seconds. Good run out of the final corner, I think, there for Villa Gomez. But I'm not sure that 33 car is going to be close enough before they get to turn 1. No, not quite. Of course, there's not really much to give between these two. They're both in Duquesne chassis. Since they're LMP3 cars, they can only have one engine. That's the thunderous Nissan 5.6-litre V8. Taking a look back to lap 1 of the race and the moment for Salman Alcio. Now, was there contact here that led to the slow puncture? Yes, there was. Okay, that's clarifying then. Just clipped the front of Torsten Kratz, trying to squeeze him out on the exit of turn 8, and that is what caused the slow puncture. That it wasn't even that slow of a puncture, really, because just 2 corners later, the tyre was down. Big shame for Salman Alcio, who was looking racy on that first lap of the race. Unfortunately, ended that first lap in the pit lane, and I can confirm that that car is in the garage now as well and likely going no further. Conrad Motorsport will be fairly happy with the sight they see on screen at the moment. 2nd and 3rd place for the 2 and 22 cars respectively. Hacklander doing nicely there in 2nd place. He will hand over to Axel Jeffries later. Here comes Villa Gomez up the inside of Matthias Luton, and contact at turn 1. It's such a pinch point at that corner. Matthias Luton is sent spinning. Villa Gomez has continued on his way. Erlbacher now stalking the number 33 car of Villa Gomez. Let's take a look at that again. Villa Gomez thought he had the corner. Matthias Luton disagreed. And unfortunately, it was Luton that was the main loser in that one. Spins around, has now rejoined the circuit, but does so many, many seconds back from the battle for 6th place he was once a part of. Painful stuff for Malna Motorsport, who have had a rough go of things this weekend, and you'll be unsurprised to know that that move is under investigation. Was certainly not quite side by side as the contact was made. We'll have to see how that one is decided. So then it's now the time for Jakob Erlbacher to have a go at Villa Gomez. Question is, can he hang with the pace of Villa Gomez now that they are free from Matthias Luton, who was doing a good defensive job prior to that incident? Mateo Villa Gomez, the Ecuadorian driver, has certainly been entertaining this weekend. Oscar Tunio, who looked very fast in qualifying and indeed the race, both in the wet conditions yesterday. Be intrigued to see what his performance looks like in today's slightly drier, more befitting of August weather conditions that we have this weekend. At least on this Sunday. Of course, yesterday looked more like March. Danny Sufi there in 3rd place ahead of Gary Hauser. The Racing Experience number 12 car, looking rather Batmobile-esque in its bare carbon fibre. Hauser, a driver with plentiful experience in LMP3 chassis, if memory serves me correctly, in the various different championships and throughout the various different seasons that Racing Experience has competed in. They've always used Duquesne chassis, or the predecessor to that, which of course was the Norma. Norma rebranded to Duquesne in 2020. So they've worked with this car, this chassis, for a long time. And Hauser, before LMP3, was running in single-seater competition, driving GP2 cars in Boss GP to lots of success. Also fired the car up a hill climb every now and then. It takes all types, folks. And be it on the hill climbs or indeed on the circuits, he's always had pace. Danny Sufi, in his first weekend with Conrad Motorsport in the Ginetta, though, is proving more than capable of holding off Gary Hauser. I'd say, as measuring sticks go, Gary is a good one. Danny looks like he is adapting to that car nicely, the American-flagged driver. Marvin Dienst into turn 1 then for the 10th time in this race. And he does so 6.6 seconds clear of Hacklander. Drive-through penalty has been given to car number 33. You will likely be unsurprised to hear, causing a collision. So Villa Gomez is judged to have been the guilty party in that contact with Matthias Luton. Rinaldi Racing crew will be watching on with long faces as their car trundles past the pits. Immediately served that drive-through penalty at the first opportunity he could. Comes out, ironically, still ahead of Matthias Luton, the driver that he tagged into a spin in the first place, but nonetheless, still a very costly drive-through penalty for Villa Gomez. Safety car, however, has been deployed. Safety car is out on the circuit. Not seeing an obvious reason why, however, either on the live pictures or out of our commentary box windows. Perhaps there is some stricken carbon fibre around the circuit, some bodywork down. Doesn't appear that anyone has gone missing on the timing screen. Of course, we are missing one car, but that's Salman Alshio, and that car is in the garage. Everyone else is still circulating, so we'll have to see if we can pick up the exact reason why the safety car is out. But out it is. And that's going to be a kick in the teeth for Marvin Dienst, who had been building a very healthy cushion to pass over to Berkay Bessler. That's all been eroded away. It was 6.8 seconds before the safety car was deployed, and that's all gone in a flash. And we now have the bulletin on the screen that the safety car is in this lap. How bizarre. We're now getting a look at the marshals down in the pits. I don't know if that tells us anything in particular about the cause of the safety car. The field hasn't even fully caught up yet. Villa Gomez and Matthias Luton, I think, are both just still going to be a little way off the rest of the pack, but we are about to go back to racing conditions. Well, Marvin Dienst is going to have to worry about the two Conrad Ginettas behind him as they go back to green flag conditions. He has pulled the pin and they are racing once more. A brief cameo then from the safety car has eradicated the lead of Marvin Dienst. Let's see how big of a lead he can pull before he hands over to Berkay Bessler. Bessler, who is Certainly looking at this season as an opportunity to establish his career and move onwards and upwards. He's driven all sorts of GT machinery over the years. And be it prototypes or GTs, I know that the Turkish racer is looking to get himself a nice full-time ride for 2023. Safety car is out again. And once more, I'm not seeing any particular reason for it, but the safety car is out a second time. Again, looking out of the windows and not seeing an obvious reason. The medical car is out on circuit. But no cars are off the track. Well, nonetheless, the safety car will once again pack up the field. Pit stop window will be postponed, says the timing screen. So they're going to shift the pit stop window back in order to give these drivers their allocated green flag time. Marvin Dientz there almost looked like he was going for the inside of the Audi R8 safety car there. Can't overtake that one, Marvin. Dientz will be pulling double duty again, more than likely, at Hockenheim in 2 months' time. Hope that we'll see him in that Drago Racing by ZVO car on many occasions in GT Masters. For the end of the year, he certainly is a driver that deserves his seat in the International German GT Championship. And he's been proving that in Prototype Cup Germany for TalkSport WRT. The only Ligier here this weekend. We have had other Ligier teams represented on the grid this season, but not this weekend. Safety car remains out for a second lap then. And this time, the entire field has bunched itself together. So both Villa Gomez and Matthias Luton have rejoined the party. Of course, in due course, we can confirm when the pit window will open. Yet to get word on exactly when it will start. A second safety car in as many laps has really dented Marvin Dienst's gap. And safety car by pit lane, says the timing screen. So the field continues on around the circuit for now. But they will duck through the motorcycle chicane, which doubles as the pit entry in the final sector of the circuit. All drivers understanding the message and filing through the pit lane now behind the safety car. So rapidly approaching halfway distance in this race as well. We'll see just how long they feel they can or want to postpone the pit window by. Longer pit stops here in Prototype Cup Germany than the ADAC GT Masters. It's a 2-minute 10, or rather 2-minute 5-second pit stop. There is the 33 car. That is Villa Gomez. Of course, he will be, I think, somewhat relieved that his drive-through penalty has been nullified by the safety car periods. Has lost an on-track position as a result of it, but that's about it. And by the same token, Matthias Luton has also been freed of the gap that he had to the rest of the field after being tagged into that spin. You see the two Conrad Motorsport cars there in second and third place with their distinctive green motifs on the livery. That is the signature colour scheme for Conrad Motorsport. So the cars back around once more, still behind the safety car. Conrad Motorsport was such a huge history. Really is wonderful to see them in Prototype Cup Germany. Of course, they raced Salines in the American Le Mans Series, at the Le Mans 24 Hours itself, the FIA GT Championship, and plenty more besides in the 2000s. Prior to that, very much a Porsche GT2 team. Now making a return to prototype competition, which they've also done in the past in Lola LMP1 cars and such. They're now running LMP3 Ginettas here in Prototype Cup Germany. So safety car is confirmed to be in this lap. We will no doubt find out in short order when the pit window will open too. The safety car will now exit stage left, and we will go back to racing. Once more, Marvin Dienst again with all of the power in his hands, and more specifically under his foot, as to when we go racing once more. Looks like the pin has been pulled. Yes, out of turn 12 they go then, and Dienst leads them off once again. It is Marvin Dienst that leads the way. Second place then is still Maximilian Hacklander. So important to note as well. Oh, just hold on a second. Gary Hauser up the inside of Danny Sufi. I was about to mention that Danny has an extra 5 seconds in the pit lane during the pit window, and that is because he is a solo driver. And now he's also just lost third place, and he may well lose a lot of other positions in the pit window because, of course, the field is so tightly bunched together. He's under pressure now from Torsten Kratz. He looks to the inside. Oh, and a lock up there as they try to find the apex at turn 6. The WTM racing car of Torsten Kratz is through into 4th place. Gary Hauser has regained the third position that he had in the early stages as well. And here we see a bit of Ginetta warfare because Jakob Erlbacher is challenging Sufi. Meanwhile, pit window has been opened, so pit window now open and will run for the next 10 minutes. So the pit window will close with 19 minutes left to go. And the two Duquesnes at the back of the order have elected to pit at the first possible opportunity. Villagomez and Luton both in. It is a 1 minute 45 second pit stop, not 2 minutes and 5. My maths failed me a little bit there, but it is still a far longer pit stop than we see in GT3 competition. That's, I think, in no small part thanks to the fact that these cars are a little more physical to get in and out of. Oh, tried to throw the seat insert out there and ended up hitting his own driver, but nonetheless, everyone continues on unabated. Villagomez removed from the car. Inserted into this Rinaldi Racing entry is Oscar Tunyo. Now, he was quick yesterday. And, of course, nullified is the gap that they had prior to the safety cars. I believe that was Axel Jeffries striding with purpose out of the Conrad garage as well. And his car is coming in. Maximilian Hacklander, the man who drove the medical car at the Nürburgring 2 weeks ago at the GT Masters event. He's got something a bit quicker and a bit more robust this weekend. However, the time to drive the car is over. He now moves on to hand over to Axel Jeffries. Axel, the Zimbabwean racer, a serial championship winner in GT cars. And as you can see there on the top of the door, Franz Conrad was meant to share that car with Axel Jeffries at one point this season at Spa. However, he has been suffering a few health complications this year as the legendary Franz Conrad. We do, however, expect to see him in a car before the end of the year, principally because I think quite a few people ask him about it. I think there's a lot of interest in having Franz Conrad racing again. We'll see if he comes out at Hockenheim. Certainly Franz, a driver and team manager with a wealth of experience, the Austrian competitor. And they are just taping up the car a little bit, so misadventures have clearly taken place somewhere along the line. Meanwhile, the leading cars are coming past the start-finish line and indeed the pit lane. None of the front runners have elected to pit this time by. Our pit window is set to run for another 6 minutes, so they've still got time to make the pit stop. Axel Jeffries only just set to leave the pits. Now, in fact, I do think that the pit window is longer than the graphics suggest on your screen, because these guys are kind of abiding to the 2 minute 5 pit window that I thought we had. Axel Jeffries, though, has been in the pit lane for a long, long time, and we saw him shaking his head several moments ago. What's going on? There seems to be confusion at the Conrad Motorsport pit. Either way, they've lost so much time already. I don't think Axel Jeffries has any power. You can hear that the car isn't running. Oh, such a shame for Axel Jeffries, second in the championship. Had a great teammate this weekend in Maximilian Hacklander. But it seems as though the car has cried enough. Huge drama then for Axel Jeffries and Conrad Motorsport. The car still in the pit lane, the lights are off, and that's a telltale sign that that car does indeed have some issues at this stage. The other Conrad Motorsport car is in. That, of course, is Danny Sufi's 22 entry. Just understanding the pit window, I think, is 1 minute 55 seconds. So 115-second pit stop seems to be the ruling. And unfortunately, the ruling for Axel Jeffries appears to be definitive. And that is that the car has cried enough. And that, unfortunately, could well spell the end of Axel Jeffries' chances at a championship here in Prototype Cup Germany. He'll be frustrated. He seemed positive about his chances this weekend, but the car is not wanting to play ball anymore. I think Danny Sufi will be off momentarily. Marvin Dienst, meanwhile, has regimentally been lapping quickly. When will he hand over to Berkay Bessler? There goes the number 11 car, rejoining the grid, or rejoining the race with Leonard Wies at the wheel. Also leaving the pit lane now is Danny Sufi with his longer pit stop owing to being a solo driver. In has come Marvin Dienst, in has come Gary Hauser as well, so the leading two are in, and that means, I believe, that everybody has now pitted. Yes, indeed, everyone has. So these will be our final pit stops. It'll be very intriguing to see where everyone filters out after this. As of now, the driver leading those that have pitted is Donar Munding for Molnar Motorsport. Donar Munding, who could well, along with Matthias Luton, be second in the championship again in 20 minutes' time, courtesy of Axel Jeffries' dramas. Oh look, Super Mario on the side of the car. Perhaps it's Super Marvin, given the efforts of TalkSport WRT so far this year. And Super Berkay as well. Bessler will rejoin the race in the Ligier shortly. And quite where that car will come out is yet to be seen. In theory, you'd think the car would come back out in the lead, but Donar Munding and Oscar Tunyo have been setting good laps since they came out onto the circuit. Of course, those two cars pitted at the first possible opportunity, so let's see if they've managed to pull an undercut here. Oh, is the Ligier starting? We heard the call, push, push, push. They're hooking up a battery. Not again. Not a second car failing to get back underway after the pit stops. Surely no such issues for Von Gartzen, who takes over the 12 car from Gary Hauser. But finally, they have revived the Ligier. However, they have lost the lead. Berkay Bessler comes back out in 4th position. Our race leader will be this man, Donar Munding. Well, lots of dramas in the pit window today. Axel Jeffries going no further, and this man, Berkay Bessler, not getting the car underway. Michael Lyons has now taken over the number 70 car, the Ginetta from Gebhardt Motorsport. Don't know why I added a K there, but they run 5th overall now, albeit quite some way behind the top 4. They're all at quite close quarters. And look at Oscar Tunyo. Tunyo, the Colombian talent, is... Thankfully, I don't understand that language, but Franz Conrad giving his analysis, I imagine, of what happened to the number 2 car of Axel Jeffries, and a move for 2nd place. Oscar Tunyo has gotten past Von Gartzen. Sebastian Von Gartzen down to 3rd place then. In the Racing Experience Duquesne. So the order after the pit stops makes for good reading if you're a fan of Duquesne DO8s, because it is Donar Munding at the front of the order, Oscar Tunyo 2nd, and Sebastian Von Gartzen in 3rd place. 4th place now is Michael Lyons. So what has happened to Berkay Bessler? Because Michael Lyons is now listed as 4th place. Bessler is still circulating, but I think he might have a transponder issue. Perhaps. Some pit stops are being noted by the stewards right now. Both the car 22 pit stop, that's Danny Sufi, and the number 7 car pit stop, that's Berkay Bessler, both noted for unstated reasons. Now, does that turn into an investigation? We'll have to see. But there's the confirmation that Lyons is in 5th place, because we saw Berkay Bessler through camera shot. It seems as though Bessler's not being picked up on our graphics here, but Michael Lyons is in 5th place behind Bessler. Bessler, who incidentally is catching Michael Lyons in a big way. Here is Danny Sufi. This is the 2nd car whose pit stop is under investigation, or at least I should say is being noted. Whether or not that note becomes an investigation, I'm uncertain. Do love this Ginetta G61 LTP3. Ginetta, who built the first ever LMP3 car, evolved it considerably when the new LMP3 regulations were rolled out several years ago. It's certainly a much more refined car than it was in 2015. The team manager of Car 22 is requested to the race director after the race. So we'll see quite what is decided there. The same has been applied to Car 7 as well. So both Berkay Bessler and Danny Sufi's cars are being pulled up for a indiscriminate issue during the pit stop, and we'll see whether that leads to a penalty in the postscript. Make sure you follow the Prototype Cup Germany socials, and I'm sure they'll update you on any decisions that are taken, but the race directors calling the team managers of Car 22 and Car 7 to the pits for a little chat a little later on. Donar Munding then continues to lead this race by 3.2 seconds, and he does so with perhaps the knowledge that Oscar Tunyo is closing in. Tunyo was 9/10 of a second quicker last time by than Donar Munding. Tunyo is on a roll right now in the number 33 car, and Donar Munding, I think, is going to have to work particularly hard to hold off Tunio if he keeps charging in this fashion. Another 0.8 of a second taken out of the gap last time, or a little over 0.7 anyway. And lap on lap, that is quite a big chunk of time. Von Gartzen is also being closed in by Berkay Bessler for 3rd place. So Berkay Bessler is on the move. Bessler, who of course took over the car that was leading, but it seemed as though that pit stop went wrong. We know that's been noted by the stewards, but of course we saw the battery being hooked up to get the car ignited once more. You also heard the pit crew yelling, push, push, push. Clearly, the car would not play ball as the pit stop was meant to come to an end. Pit stop was rather elongated by the car's reluctance to move. Berkay Bessler all over the back of Sebastian von Gartzen for 3rd place as we continue to follow this lead battle. Munding being closed in upon. And there is the battle for 3rd place as they roll down the front straight. Bessler in 4th position. Just 0.7 back from our 3rd place car, Sebastian von Gartzen. And Bessler has been hunting. I don't think it'll be long before he makes a move for 3rd place. I do wonder if time is against him in terms of trying to make any further progress up the podium. But certainly 3rd place could be on the cards as von Gartzen comes under increasing pressure from the TalkSport WRT Ligier. Flashing of the headlights from Bessler. Just letting him know that he's in the vicinity. I'm sure that Sebastian von Gartzen is very much aware. Good run out of turn 11 into 12 for von Gartzen there. That'll do him some favours. Here comes Bessler. Making a move now for 3rd place. No, not quite able. Thought for a minute he was close enough, but not on this occasion. Von Gartzen going defensive into turn 4. Out of 5. Back on the power as they head out onto the oval once more. But only briefly because turn 6 comes next. This is the widest part of the circuit. A good thing it is as well, because it's quite the pinch point on the first lap of races here at the Lausitzring short road course. 3.4 kilometres, 2.1 miles of circuit. As you can see, particularly for LMP3 cars, it looks a bit bumpy. Great scrap this between von Gartzen and Bessler. Bessler will feel rather aggrieved that he even has to partake in the battle, given the car was in the lead prior to the pit stop, but something went awry ahead of the stop. Battle for the lead is now within a second too. We see them through the shot there. But von Gartzen still with Bessler for company. Gap hasn't registered on my timing screen that time. It does seem as though the transponder on the Ligier is rather askew, but I can confirm that the gap is 0.4 of a second across the line. It's all rather academic though, isn't it? Because the reality is that Berkay Bessler is right on the rear wing of Sebastian von Gartzen, courtesy of the rather wonderful panoramic view that we have out of this commentary box. I can tell you that I'm also keeping an eye on the lead battle. If anything happens, I'll shout. But this battle for 3rd is currently closer. much closer as Berkay Bessler continues to hound for a way onto the podium. Berkay Bessler then for TalkSport WRT. This car has won every time it's finished a race. That streak looks like it may come to an end today. Of course, they had a non-finish at the Nürburgring last month. But by and large, the TalkSport WRT LMP3 program has been a resounding success. Through the first corner they go for the 31st time in this race. And now that Bessler has closed in on von Gartzen, the move isn't quite as forthcoming as I imagine Bessler had hoped. Von Gartzen, the German racer, is doing a good job of holding off the young Turkish charger. Out of turn 7 they go, and here we see Michael Lyons under threat from Leonard Wies. Two very experienced drivers going head-to-head here, and Wies there with a masterful move at turn 6 made that look incredibly easy. Leonard Wies, who is experienced beyond his years, having raced in both LMP3s and GTs at 24 years old at the moment, and Leonard Wies gets around Michael Lyons there rather comfortably. Here's the lead battle, Donar Munding with Oscar Tunjo looming large. It's Molnar Motorsport versus Rinaldi Racing. Meanwhile, Berkay Bessler also still very close to the battle for third place. We've got two fabulous scraps, one for the lead, one for third place here at the Lausitzring. These LMP3 cars often make for intriguing racing. And with the combined forces of ADAC and Creventic, hopefully the future is bright for Prototype Cup Germany. Has been a quality field all year long. Perhaps not quantity, but quality, absolutely. Just look at some of the names, not just in terms of the teams, Conrad and TalkSport and Racing Experience, Rinaldi, but also some of the incredible drivers we've had in the hot seats this year. Donar Munding, who appeared in ADAC GT4 2 weeks ago at the Nürburgring, could well find himself second in the championship along with Matthias Luton here in Prototype Cup Germany once this race is over. And will gain on the championship leaders Berkay Bessler and Marvin Dienst, particularly if Bessler can't find a way past von Gartzen. Of course, these cars rather more reliant on downforce than most of your GTs, and as such they do produce more dirty air. It does mean that overtaking is sometimes tricky. Both Tunjo and Bessler surged up to their respective opponents. Here is Tunjo and Donar Munding once more. In both instances, the driver that's following closed in on the driver that's leading quite quickly, but now that they are line astern, the overtake is rather difficult to put together. Flash of the headlights there from Oscar Tunjo. Sure that Rinaldi Racing are willing on their man at the moment. Donar Munding will be driving through the mirrors in the Molnar Motorsport Duquesne. Just 4 minutes left for Munding to hold off this pressure from Tunyo, who had a little look to the inside. Wasn't close enough for a move, but just keeping Munding on his toes. This would be a first win of the season for Molnar Motorsport, for Donar Munding. And of course, for Matthias Luton, who started the race. These two cars, of course, at one point were right at the back of the field after that collision at the first corner earlier on, when they were running 7th and 8th. I certainly didn't expect to see them fighting for the lead at the end of the race, but that's exactly what's happened. Motor racing always likes to provide shock and awe, and here comes Berkay Bessler. That's a very good run out of turn 11, and then around the back, turn 12. It's side by side. Bit of a wiggle on the bumps there for Berkay Bessler. He has the inside line, but the nose ahead belongs to Sebastian von Gartzen. Can Bessler do it? No, he backs out, but outbraking himself is von Gartzen. Locks it up, trying to get to the apex at turn 1, and Berkay Bessler is through into 3rd place. And surely, now that Bessler has made that move, a response won't be forthcoming. He surged up to von Gartzen in short order. Did take quite a while to negotiate the move, but a good run out of turn 11 forced him side by side with von Gartzen, and von Gartzen just tried a bit too hard on the brakes. Here's a replay. Just a couple of meters too late on the brakes, or perhaps not quite enough pressure applied. Either way, von Gartzen didn't quite get the car stopped in time. This man, Berkay Bessler, has salvaged a podium for he and Marvin Dienst after those problems in the pit stop. The car would not fire back up. What could have been for the number 7 crew had the car played ball? Well, one would suggest a 5th win from 6 races. That seems unlikely now, though. It's more than likely that one of these two cars, one of these two Duqueine D08s, will take the win here today. The question is, which one will it be? Donar Munding or Oscar Tunyo, Molnar Motorsport or Rinaldi Racing? Certainly, as a rule of thumb, you tend to give the nod to the car in the lead, but as we just saw with Berkay Bessler, it only takes 1/2 slip up for the move to be made. May not even need a slip up. But certainly it seems that these two have been equally matched for the last 15 or so minutes of racing, and Donar Munding just has to withstand the pressure for 2 more laps. We are now on to the penultimate lap of the race. The clock will tick down to 0 this time, and then we will add 1 lap to the end of the race distance. Bouncing towards turn 1 goes Berkay Bessler, and oh, I thought Tunyo was going for it there. I think he's been told 2 to go. Let's go for the win. And Oscar Tunyo is doing just that. Certainly that's the most ambitious that Tunyo has looked into turn 6 all race long. If cars could have body language, Oscar Tunyo would be on the attack. The number 33 car, the Rinaldi Racing machine, is certainly causing Matthias Luton, who we saw in the garage a moment ago, looking very nervous. Mateo Villagomez looking rather more sedate. But But certainly Matthias Luton would love to see a victory. It's all in the hands of his teammate Donar Munding, though, as they start the final lap of the race. Munding versus Tunio. There is once again tense scenes at Molnar Motorsport. Munding goes defensive into turn 4 and 5. Now he's got to be careful for the move at turn 6 because Tunio's got a good run once again there, and we know he likes to go for the lunge. Is he going to try it again? He's made his intent very clear indeed. He looks to the inside, but no, he doesn't quite draw alongside Donar Munding. Donar Munding still leads, and Oscar Tunio is running out of braking zones. He's running out of overtaking opportunities, and he seems to be ever so slightly running out of grip. That was a poor run through turn 7. Can Donar Munding hold on? Can Oscar Tunio find a way by in the closing stages? It doesn't look to me like he's close enough through turn 9 into turn 10. Just 2 corners left to go, 11, and then the bank turn 12. And I think Donar Munding has done enough. Yes, surely, Munding has done it. Matthias Luton is starting to believe. He does believe. It's a race victory for Donar Munding, Matthias Luton, and Molnar Motorsport. Oscar Tunio taking 2nd place, and now Matthias Luton feels free to celebrate, and celebrate he does in style. Great result for Donar Munding. 3rd place will go to Berkay Bessler, who crosses the line now on your screen. 3rd place to Von Gartzen, who held on admirably against Berkay Bessler, but eventually comes home 4th. 5th place will go to Leonard Wies. Michael Lyons and Danny Sufi rounding out our finishing order. Celebrations also at Rinaldi Racing. They seem fairly happy with their weekend's work. Villa Gomez not quite taking the top step today, but nonetheless seeming content with his finishing position. Donar Munding certainly earned that victory. Well, the 2 cars that finished in the top 2 collided earlier on. I wasn't necessarily expecting them to fight for the win, but what a fight it was. Oscar Tunio taking 2nd behind Munding, Berkay Bessler 3rd, Von Gartzen in 4th place, Leonard Wies in 5th, Michael Lyons and Danny Sufi rounding out the finishing order. Danny Sufi, of course, a solo driver, the American competitor in his first race weekend with Conrad here in Prototype Cup Germany. I think the best is yet to come from him. He looked strong at times this weekend, but a long pit stop hampered his day. Cars then streaming back toward pit lane at the end of what has been a fabulous DECRA Family and Friends Festival. An event headlined by the best and brightest of the ADAC and the best and brightest in Prototype Cup Germany on Sunday, Donar Munding, and his co-driver, the insatiable Matthias Luton, who was very, very happy indeed with his result. And good to see that Rinaldi Racing were just as happy with their spoils too. Here comes Donar Munding. And a reserved celebration. I get the feeling that once Donar's on the scene, it might get a bit more intense.
Aber ernsthaft, richtig gut gemacht, richtig gut gemacht.
There you go. Donar and Matthias celebrating their win. And glad to see that Matthias Luton is lapping up the spoils as they discuss matters in German. Of course, Matthias Luton ended up backwards at one point. Could that win have happened without those safety cars in the first stint of the race? Certainly, I think not. I think the podium would have looked very different if that hadn't happened.
gemacht.
The two cars that finished first and second were at one point 7th and 8th. Of course, Oscar Tunio's teammate, Mateo Villagomez, had a drive-through penalty owing to his contact with Matthias Luton. There are the point standings. Munding and Luton are still in it, certainly. It'd be a brave man who bets against Dienst and Bessler going into the final two races at the Hockenheimring. But you can't rule out a sensational turn of events in the final two races of the year in ADAC Prototype Cup Germany. Of course, Prototype Cup Germany, a joint venture between ADAC and Creventic, the creators of the 24-hour series. And big thumbs up there.
Good job. Yes,
from
you too.
Berkay.
Oh man, you pressured me at the end.
In fact, my apologies, that's Oscar Tunio, of course. That's Berkay Bessler.
I think he was you in the first stint.
Huh?
Wishing well.
Yes.
I'm sorry for the...
Can happen, don't worry.
Yeah, I went way too deep in.
Yeah, can happen, can happen.
We are 1-2, so...
They heard Donar Munding summing it up nicely there. We had Villagomez there apologising to Matthias.
Congratulations.
Yeah, can happen. Don't worry about that. Good job from you.
And that's nice to hear that both Villagomez was very apologetic
with the rubber from the F4, huh?
and Matthias Luton was very forgiving.
I mean, to be honest, the track was, every single session this weekend, the track felt different. Every single session, all the time. It's
plain and slippery.
And it was the first time for us to drive after the F4s. Before it always was after other cars, so...
There you go, Matthias Luton doing a very good job analysing the race there. We should get him up in the commentary box. Also, he didn't use any bad language, which makes him a doubly good candidate for commentary duties. Matthias Luton, as I said, great to hear the apologies and the respect between the drivers there. After that collision, quite a severe collision that we saw in the early stages between Matthias Luton and Mateo Villagomez.
Doesn't matter. Anyway.
And Berkay Bessler, I think, not terribly pleased with his third place. Of course, we saw what happened in the pit stop there. Could it have been a fifth win of the season for Berkay Bessler and Marvin Dienst without that last moment issue in the pit stop? We'll never know. I'm sure they'll be back to winning ways next time. Oscar Tunio and Mateo Villagomez taking second place for Rinaldi Racing. And though it was close, it was Molnar Motorsports that came out on top. Donar Munding along with Matthias Luton. Molnar Motorsport, our victors in race 2 for Prototype Cup Germany. 2 rounds and 1 venue left to go. And there we go, a great day's action for the Prototype Cup Germany. We had thrills, spills, contact passes, and lots more besides. It will be Donar Munding and Matthias Luton that take to the top step of the podium, easy for me to say, in just a couple of minutes. Sounds like the podium ceremony is about to get started then. The incomparable Patrick Simon giving the presentation here for the live audience at the DECRA Family and Friends Festival. Of course, Patrick has seen and done most of it, if not all, in GT racing in particular. And is these days an integral part of the German language broadcast team at ADAC events. Here comes Berkay Bessler and Marvin Dienst. Dienst, whom, of course, also had a successful run in GT Masters today. They are the championship leaders. However, they are not quite champions yet. Mathematically speaking, they are very, very close indeed. But not quite champions yet. Tunio and Villa Gomez second. And here come the winners, Donar Munding and Matthias Luton. He looks happy with that. Great to see. Happy body language on that top step. And there's a representative from Molnar Motorsports. I'm sure he was in suspense in his suspenders, but ultimately Molnar Motorsport came out on top. There you go. Congratulations to Molnar Motorsport, to Donar Munding and Matthias Luton on a good job. Well done. There is Benjamin Coit presenting the leading trophies. Ole Durleman for Prototype Cup, and Kreventic, the project leader, giving the second place trophies over. And rounding out the top three, the Toksport WRT cars. Still on the podium in 5 of 6 races, but that streak of 5 wins, winning every time they finish, has now come to an end. Berkay Bessler, though, and Marvin Dientz will both be aware that the championship is theirs to lose now. And the junior trophy there going to Oscar Tunio. Or rather, sorry, to Donar Munding. Getting my wires a little bit crossed. And trophies all round for Molnar Motorsport then. It's been a big, successful day for Molnar Motorsport, a team we've seen in GT Masters, we've seen at the highest peaks of GT and prototype racing. Great to have them with us in Prototype Cup Germany. And for the first time in Prototype Cup Germany, they're the team on the top step. Pictures are taken. I'm sure that'll end up on the office walls at Molnar Motorsport as soon as they've taken a trip to the printers. Congratulations once again to the team and to everyone in Prototype Cup Germany. The series continues to show the potential of LMP3 cars. I'm sure the season finale at Hockenheim will be one to remember. That takes place on the 22nd and 23rd of October.